Hello and welcome back to the show. The signals we've been giving you throughout this downtrend have been absolutely spot on here. As we came up, climbed within this bearish rising wedge here, and then eventually hit levels of resistance. I've got these red circles on the chart here showing you levels where I told you to be looking for a turn, and I told you were opportunities for bears. Right at the peak, of course, I was warning you about this. Once we broke down below the 50-period moving average, it now became an opportunity for bears here to establish short positions. Not financial advice, of course. I'm just telling you how this trading system that I've put in place works. We crashed down, ended up coming back down to the 200-period moving average here on the hourly time frame of US 100, which is the futures chart of the NASDAQ. And right about there, we told you to be looking at taking some profits because we were approaching a level of support and that we could get, potentially get a bounce. We took some profits there. Market ended up rallying strong here into the Monday session. We right at this area, we told you, as we've been telling you the whole way, this was another opportunity for the bears. I told you to be looking for a lower high to develop, lower than this high, and also told you in my past videos, throughout this entire time here, I told you exactly what to be looking for. I told you to be looking for a reversal. I told you to be looking for the market then to hold under the moving averages, the 50. And I told you that we do sometimes, in the beginning of a move, get these fake outs where you kind of like go and get back above the 50-period moving average, stay there for a short time, and then get right back under it. So we got two of those here, which were two great opportunities for the bears, in my opinion. On Thursday, before the market opened, we were tagging the 20-period moving average on the daily time frame. That is why we spoke about taking, again, a little bit of profits. And when I say taking profits, I'm not talking about closing out an entire position. This position is safe. I'm not touching this position. I'm talking about these other positions that you open along the way. I'll tend to take profits on those, whether it's closing a small part of the position, half, or even an entire position sometimes, like I did with this one. These are areas where you kind of want to, take profits and lock in those gains because that's the name of the game. That's how you're successful at this. So right about now, I kind of want to get started here by talking to you about the sequence counts. Now, what is a sequence count? Let me go ahead and pull out this indicator right here. This is the sequence count on the hourly chart. And as you can see, there's a lot going on here. And basically, when you get a 9, that is the top, when the 8 or 9 bar are the top or the bottom of the move. Well, that marks usually areas where you can get turns, reversals, or go sideways. So right here, we got to the first 9. We went a little bit lower. We told you to be, okay, maybe take some profits here. We ended up going super sideways, getting some crazy candles. And I didn't even look at any of this because I already took my profits here. Like the profits that you take, they're so important because they allow you to be risk-free and you can go to bed sleeping at night knowing that everything's fine. Whatever happens, if tomorrow we gap up 10%, then we're fine. So, throughout all this, I didn't even look. And, if I was trying to open a position here, I'd have definitely gotten whacked. And the crazy thing is, before market open yesterday, I did warn you exactly. You can go watch the video. I told you, I think it's wise to take some profits here because we could get some sideways action and some wild moves, and it's easy to get trapped within those moves. I mean, I couldn't have been any more precise there. That is exactly what happened. Now, once again, we're getting another 9 count buy signal here on the hourly time frame, which is why I'm telling you to be looking for potentially a rally here to develop because today is options expiration. We'll be getting into that a little bit later in the video, so make sure you stick around for it. But, I could see a rally developing around these levels. As you can see, we're bouncing off of the support zone right here that's been set by the 9 count, kind of like we did here. We bounced a little bit around it, got below it for a short while, and then as soon as the Globex session started, we started getting back above it and going sideways. So right now, we didn't close below that level, below the level of resistance here. So maybe we're not going sideways. Maybe we're just going to go up here. Maybe we're going to go up to this peak, or I don't know where, maybe to the 200 and turn off of that. But I think this has been a pretty brutal sell-off, actually. We haven't really gotten any higher highs. We just got lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And I think that we are due for a little bit of a bounce here. Now, once again, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm going to remove the 9 counts just so I can get rid of these as well. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Remember, The reason why we manage risk and take profits is because we want to be able to sit through times where we're not too sure what's going on. Oftentimes the market is going to be very clear at a certain point in time, and then like look here, we rallied right back, come on now, right back into the resistance zone. We literally tagged this level like to the penny, and if I go on a daily chart just to show you what that level is, that's a basic channel here. You connect the top of the first wave to the top of the third. I believe this is a third wave. So top of the first, top of the third, you get the parallel to it and you put it at the bottom of the second. You see what I'm saying? These are not just random channels. You put it to the bottom of the second, and now, as you can see, we're getting, we came back, tagged it, and we're turning off of it. Now, this is a very interesting level, because this is a level of support here. We are also surrounding the 20-day moving average, which is just above. We broke back under it, maybe rally back to it, find some sellers. I don't know exactly what happens, but we are getting a bearish count as well on the daily chart here for NASDAQ. And so right now we have a 1, 2, 3. This will be the fourth bar. So as long as the bar doesn't close above the bar from 4 days ago, the count remains bearish. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which means that today we have a ton of space to rally. We could rally all the way up to 15,177, and we can close at freaking 15,166, and it would still be bearish. And then tomorrow, Monday, we would have to close below 15,114. Tuesday would have to close below 14,939. So you see how this kind of gives you an idea of what's going on here. The 9 count marked the bottom. It was the exact bottom there, and it was the top at the beginning of the move. So this isn't just a random indicator. This indicator is pretty good. It shows price exhaustion, and I believe that's what we're getting right now in a smaller time frame. If we do get a 9 count here from this move down, even though we go sideways for the next 2 days, or not even sideways, even if we rally for the next 2 days here, as long as today we don't close above 15,180 and tomorrow above 15,117, the count remains bearish. So this would be 2, 3, 4. That would mean we would get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would take us into next Friday for the 9 count. If that is what happens, we're not sure, of course, but if that was to develop here and we get a 9 count to end this move in a capitulation type sell-off, it could be pretty brutal, take us to the lower boundary here. Now, other times, the 9 count doesn't mark the very bottom, kind of like we did here. Sometimes you do go a little bit lower. So maybe if we do get the 9 count here next Friday, maybe we go sideways just a little bit here, maybe getting higher lows, but, sucking in a ton of puts. And usually you'll see that puts don't usually come in when the market is just crashing down. Usually puts stack up whenever the market is kind of going sideways. Like right here, this is where we had the highest amount of puts ever put into the market. And as you can see, we weren't really going down. We literally went sideways, and everybody was turning bearish. And on this day, we came right back down to critical once again, bounced off of it, and it was smooth sailing from there. So very important time to be watching what's going on. If we do start rallying from here, we go super bullish, we break the bearish count here, I do think that we're getting back within this channel. Okay, super bullish. If that happens, I do think we're going to get back within this channel, and that we're going to tag the top of the channel and even throw over the top of the channel, because usually when you break from a channel and you get back into it, it's very bullish, and you usually get a throw over of the upper boundary. So we'll be watching at all these things. Do we stay within these channels, or are we going to have to redraw our channels? We'll get to see here in the next 2 weeks exactly what goes on. But for the time being, NASDAQ is attempting a small bounce, in my opinion. Are we going to get it? How high is it going to go? We do not know that. Maybe we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. If I just pull up a line chart, you can see a little bit clearer. It's not super clear, but as you can see, maybe that was wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I'm speculating, I don't trade this. I don't trade a count. I don't trade like a Elliott wave count. I don't trade none of that. I trade support and resistance, and then I use my signals and my knowledge of the market, overall market conditions and all these kinds of things here to, make me pick a side. And up here at the very top here, even within this move up, we were telling you to be watching out. A lot of people were going, oh my God, we have the bottom in, here we go rallying. People were saying, oh, thank you to everybody who's been following me and waiting. Dude, we're right back down to this level. And, we could get a little bounce here, I believe, but I think it might be short-lived and that we might get a capitulation type sell-off ahead of the Fed, ahead of Apple earnings, which is beginning of November. Those are the major events that might really give some direction to the market. So let me just go ahead and remove this 9 count because it can get kind of messy. I did also want to talk to you about yields. The 10-year Treasury note yield once again is making a new high. It's going crazy. I warned you about this. I told you, yo, don't just think the 10-year yield is going to go down from here. Maybe this was a peak, maybe. But I mean, after I told you that right here, which was on this day before we actually closed at a higher high. I mean, we did close at a higher high, but before we actually got a higher high on the 10-year, I was telling you to be on the lookout. We're looking for a peak to develop somewhere around here. If we do get a peak, it's possible it's just a peak and we crash, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we get a peak and then we start moving into into building some sort of topping process here. Getting a few tags of the 50, getting back below it, back above it, going sideways, not doing much before getting the real crash here on the 10-year Treasury note yield. So even if you think that's the peak, I think there's plenty of time to be able to see what happens. We are very, very extended on the 10-year once again, and this is why the market is selling off. And I told you that if the 10-year starts to sell off, then you're going to really start seeing the market go up. So now US 100 is back positive here on the day for futures. So we'll be looking at how we open. And I do want to talk to you about options. So this is SPY max pain. Max pain is the level at which the stock market needs to close on this particular expiration day here for options in order for Wall Street to make the most amount of money. They usually, and this thing, actually, I'm sorry here, but this was at 433 yesterday. Today it's at 429, so it came down a little. 429 on SPX, that would be around 4,290. So max pain is sitting just above, really not too far. This is why I'm saying maybe we get some sideways action. Maybe we get some a rally here from these levels, but we'll be looking at max pain to see how the week ends. And just talking about the week, actually, let's take a look at our weekly bars. Ooh, okay. You see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Back here, I told you to be watching for the 50-period moving average as support. This could also be a bottom. Like this kind of pattern, as long as we don't get a lower low, even if we come all the way down to 4,205 and we don't get a lower low, we go sideways and explode up, that could be a bottom right there. But I need more evidence. It looks like S&P is moving down within this wedge here that it wants to go test it one more time. Which I've been calling, of course, for a long time. So we'll really see how that plays out here. NASDAQ, once again, last week, I told you that these three weekly bars, I told you precisely this is a bearish pattern, and usually you'll see a big, nasty red bar. This is why I'm telling you, I know options expiration is today, and it's the big one, but we could still see a sell-off here and get an even nastier candlestick for the market to really start, scaring people, seeing that fear and greed index move back into extreme fear, as I was telling you, and for the real opportunity to present itself at this bear flag. Right now, you'll notice, if you watch my videos, we've been talking about this flag for a long time. Nobody else is talking about this flag. Are we going to be able to get to it? I don't know. But if we do, that's going to be something I'm watching very, very closely, because we're going to be, we're going to be reaching the 200 period moving average pretty soon. That's the 13,933. It's going to continue going up. Around the next Friday, it'll be around 14,100. What is 14,100? Well, that's also the 10-month moving average that we have not tagged in a long time. And this could mean a lot more upside here for the NASDAQ and S&P. Last time we tagged it was here in March, and then we ended up getting 9%, 9.73% month, 0.49% month, 7.54% month, 6.39, 4.02. So you see what I'm talking about? This is a big level of support coming in right around 4,100 or so. It's right now it says it's at 4,067. So we'll be looking at what level we crash to here on the NASDAQ, and we'll be looking at these moving averages very, very closely. I do also want to talk about the VIX. Now, the VIX, let me just pull it up here. The VIX was up. Actually, let me close this. The VIX was up over 10% yesterday. How much? I think it was up a lot. And usually when you get a VIX up over 10%, it means that there's a high probability that the market is going to get a little bounce, a little green day in the next 2 days. So today we'll be watching. If we get it today, maybe we get it Monday. As I told you, we might get it today and Monday, because as long as we don't close above the levels I talked about earlier, you know, it still remains bearish and sellers still remain in control. We do have a bearish arrangement of the moving averages on not on the VIX right here. On the VIX is bullish right now, but on the market we have a bearish alignment of the moving averages in the hourly time frame from US 100. And I do believe as long as that 50 doesn't get above the 200, I'm sorry to say, but it looks bearish to me. You know, we got back above it here. Now we're back under it. It's not looking like this is a little, you know, get back under and pop back. No, not like one of these. Not looking like one of these, right? It's looking like it's clearly under there. It got, you know, a lot of room to get back up there. So if we want to turn bullish again, we have a lot of work to do. And is this the bottom? I mean, shit, I'm open to it, you know, excuse my language. I'm open to it, but I do not think so. I think we still have a little bit more selling. I think that we're going to get a massive rally once this selling is done. And in order for that to happen, the big money players, the big institutions, the whales, they need to accumulate as much shares as they can. So as I told you, we had a little distribution pattern right here. This is Jesse Livermore's accumulation / distribution pattern. In this case, it would be a distribution pattern. This is it right here, kind of a contracting pattern, which looks like a wedge, but then you break to the downside. And then what can follow is a lot more aggressive selling. Maybe we don't get it right now. We'll see what happens today. I'll have a better idea of what's going to happen this weekend. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my weekend video here. But for now, I'm sorry to say we're still holding below the 10 and the 20 moving averages here on the hourly time frame. And I told you that when you hold below these two moving averages, the 20 and the 10, that's when you get your most bearish moves. That's when the market sells off the hardest. That's when you find capitulation. When you start surrounding the 50, you're probably going sideways, or you're getting a pullback here like we did here. But when you start, I'm telling you, turning off of these two and going down, or turning off of these two and going up, it means a big move is in store. So we do have OPEX options expiration today with a ton of money that's on the line. And, you know, maybe that'll be enough for them to say, okay, let's just manipulate today, see what's going on, and then we'll resume the rest on Monday or Tuesday or next week. I don't know when. So we'll be watching to see what happens at these levels. This is a very important time here for the NASDAQ and for the S&P. We did bounce. Now we're, you know, going back down. Did the market just open? Yeah, because the market just opened. So let's just go ahead on the cash index, actually, since the market just opened, and let's see what we have. We do have our bear flag level that's right below. Are we going to be able to stay above it? Maybe. This is a level of support right now. If we break it, we'll be watching what happens. But once again, I did tell you we had a accumulation pattern on the index. On the cash index, it looks like maybe we're getting 1, 2, 3. You know, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is just a pullback and we get a higher low to this move, then we'll be able to tell. But for the moment, we can't tell. We have the 20 crossing the 200 here on the hourly time frame. Maybe that produces a little bit of a rally here. We'll be watching to see, but it is options expiration week. And for the moment, let's see. Russell is up, trying to get a little morning star reversal pattern. We did come right back to critical. These are the areas you want to be looking for. These are the areas where the risk is low, okay, and where you could potentially get a strong bounce, because it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Everyone's saying, oh, it looks like it's going down. These are the levels you want to be watching. This is when you want to be the most attentive to what happens next year in the market. If we start moving super strongly upward, it's giving us a good sign. If we don't, well, it's not giving us a good sign. It's really that simple here. So that's all I want to get to today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe and to like the video. It helps the channel a ton. We'll see if the indices can bounce back here and maybe get a little bit of a relief rally. But right now at the open, it's looking like it kind of wants to scare everyone, or it just wants to sell off. We'll be watching to see. We did manage risk, as I told you, so we can sit through all this, just, you know, not having to worry about anything here, and just waiting for the weekend so we can go and do whatever we got to do until Monday. So I'll see you in the weekend video, and have a good one.